Like tangled maze.
That's our material entanglement.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about it.
Do you know anything about the upholstery of this thing? Reupholstering? You don't know.
Mahananda last time, I guess, he made
Yeah,
Tijuana.
Yeah.
After that was years back.
He lives in Mexico City now. Too far away. But you know about this. It's actually someone's going to pay for doing it.
I heard, it's getting made in Mexico is what I heard.
Yeah.
Oh. Actually, Balaram is the perfect person for that, who just arrived.
You wouldn't know.
You know.
Who's paying to reupholster this thing?
Well, one person is Mahabharat, another person is Jagannath Tirtha.
Jagannath Tirtha.
They're actually making a whole new one.
Oh, really?
In Mexico.
In Mexico.
Tijuana.
Yeah, last was made in Tijuana.
Yeah, but Mahananda's not involved this time.
No.
Okay.
No Mahananda.
You saw him, he came up here, did you see him?
Yeah.
Okay. Haribol. A little low, because I turned it down for the other thing. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijanam Balabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopijanam Balabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Bhajajanarandana. Yashodanandana Bhajajanarandana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. James Paramahansa, Buddha Church, Ashtoka Sri Srimad, Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai. ISKCON Bhakti Church, Srila Prabhupada, Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Buddha Church, Ashtoka Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Grantara srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to Narayan Rishi, to supermost human being. And to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 12 or 13? Huh? This is the 12th or the 13th? 13th. It is the 13th? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. On this 13th day of June, 2018, in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order. Chapter 1, the genealogical table of the daughters of Manu. Text number 16. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Atre Grihe Surashreshta Stityutpatyanta Hetavaha Kinchit Chikirshabho Jata Etadakyahi Me Guru. Vidura Uvacha Shri Vidura said Atre Grihe in the house of Atri.
In the house of Atri.
So the Shrestha,
Buddha Shrestha,
chief demigods,
chief demigods,
Sthiti,
Sthiti,
maintenance,
maintenance,
Utpatti,
Utpatti,
creation,
creation,
Anta,
Anta,
destruction,
destruction,
Hetavaha,
Hetava,
causes,
causes,
Kinchit,
Kinchit,
something,
something,
Chikirshabaha,
Chikirshabaha,
desiring to do,
desiring to do,
Jataha,
Tataha,
appeared,
appeared,
Etat,
Etat,
this,
this,
Akyahi,
Akyahi,
tell,
tell,
me,
me,
to me,
to me,
Guru,
Guru,
my dear spiritual master.
my dear spiritual master.
So who is that spiritual master? Vidura's spiritual master. Remember who was asking? Maitreya.
Oh, Maitreya.
Maitreya. Who's still the conversation, the whole third and fourth canon, it's the same conversation. Okay. Just keep you on your toes there. After hearing this, Vidura inquired from Maitreya, "My dear master, how is it that the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the whole creation, became the offspring of the wife of Atri Muni?" Purport. The inquisitiveness of Vidura was quite fitting, for he understood that when the Supersoul, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva all appeared to the person of Anasuya, the wife of Atri Muni, there must have been some great purpose. Otherwise, why should they have appeared in such a way? We'll read a few more. Maitreya Vacha, Brahmana Choditak Shrishtav Atri Brahma Vidambaraha Sahapatnya Yaya Vriksham Puladhim Tapasistitaha. Maitreya said, when Lord Brahma ordered Atri Muni to create generations after marrying Anasuya, Atri Muni and his wife went to perform severe austerities in the valley of the mountain called Vriksha. Tasmin Pasunastabaka Pala Shashoka Kanane Varbi Sravadbhi Udgushte Nirvindhyaya Samantataha. In that mountain valley flows a river named the Nirvindhya. On the bank of the river are many Ashoka trees and other plants full of palasha flowers, and there is always the sweet sound of water flowing from a waterfall. The husband and wife reached that beautiful place. I'll just read English. There the great sage concentrated his mind by the yogic breathing exercises, and thereby controlling all attachment, he remained standing on one leg only, eating nothing but air, and stood there on one leg for 100 years. Wow. He was thinking, "May the Lord of the universe, of whom I have taken shelter, kindly be pleased to offer me a son exactly like him." Prabhu explains this. Purport. It appears that the great sage Atri Muni had no specific idea of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, he must have been conversant with the Vedic information that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead who is the creator of the universe, from whom everything emanated, who maintains this created manifestation, and in whom the entire manifestation is conserved after dissolution. Yato vahimani bhutani, Taittiriya Upanishad 3.1. The Vedic mantras give us information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Atri Muni concentrated his mind upon that Supreme Personality of Godhead, even without knowing his name, just to beg from him a child exactly on his level. This kind of devotional service, in which knowledge of God's name is lacking, is also described in the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says that 4 kinds of men with backgrounds of pious activities come to him asking for what they need. Atri Muni wanted a son exactly like the Lord, and therefore he is not supposed to have been a pure devotee, because he had a desire to be fulfilled, and that desire was material. Although he wanted a son exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this desire was material because he did not want the Personality of Godhead himself, but only a child exactly like him. If he had desired the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his child, he would have been completely free of material desires, because he would have wanted the Supreme Absolute Truth. But because he wanted a similar child, his desire was material. Thus Atri Muni cannot be counted among the pure devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. Abhinanda Prabhu. Are we following along here?
I'm following along, yes.
Okay.
I'm right there in the text right now, I'm just reading.
Okay, good.
Hi, Bob. Nice to see you.
Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, in this series of verses, we're hearing further description of the offspring of the daughters of Kardama Muni. You recall back in the third canto, Kardama Muni, when he, after a long period of austerities, and he saw his wife Devahuti getting thinner and thinner, and she was serving him faithfully and not complaining, even though she was an exalted princess. So finally he said, well, this is not right. And so he arranged for her to rejuvenate. Remember, she went into the water, and there were so many water beings in there who helped her. She came out, she was very gorgeous and beautiful. And he created this aerial mansion that flew all over the universe. You can hardly call it an airplane. It was like a flying city. And an idyllic city, and they went all over the place, and they had relations. And she first gave birth to 9 daughters. And those 9 daughters were given over to different sages, one of whom is Atri Muni. And we've already heard one before. And then we didn't hear much more about that. We heard about Kapila Dev, the son, and the holy instructions to Devahuti. But now we're hearing about the daughters of Kardama Muni and their offspring. And this particular one is Anasuya, which means free of envy. That name is especially well known here. Some of you know why. You remember why?
Bhagavad Gita.
No, Lakshmi Narayan Maharaj's daughter. So now we're describing. So now it's interesting. They didn't. Okay, so Atri Muni now has Anasuya, but and they want to have offspring. But the first thing they do is to go perform severe austerities. It was understood in those days that in order to get the best offspring, one should be as pure as possible. And so this purification goes on, and they both perform these austerities. And while Atri is performing those austerities, he's praying. He's part of his meditation. I mean, it's inconceivable. He's standing on one leg, just breathing. That's all he's eating is the air. And his pranayama is focusing his mind, and he's offering this prayer. But the prayer is not a fully devotional prayer. Yes, he's praying that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will bless him. But the blessing he wants is that he will have a son like him. And as Prabhupada explains in this longer purport that we read, first substantial purport, that because he wasn't praying for the Lord and he didn't know his name, therefore he's understood not to be a pure devotee. And then he referenced the passage in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna describes the 4 kinds of people who approach me, who are sukriti. So let's review that for a minute. The verse is Chaturvada bhajante mam jana sukatanorjana arto jigyasu artati jnanicha bharatarshava. Now, in that those 4 are first those who are in distress, those who are searching for some wealth, some material, artarti, the jnani, and those who are simply curious. So now Krishna immediately praises the jnani in the next couple of verses, say more or less describing them as pure devotees. What does it say? Even gyata, Chaturvada jana sukado arto jnani chavada tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhakti vishishyate priyo jnana satyam aham satyam apriya. So right away he's saying, well, this jnani, assuming he's approaching me with genuine desire for knowledge, then he is just like my very self. He's very dear to me. And the next verse says he's my very self. And then the verse after that, he's describing how those who are really in knowledge, after many, many births, they surrender unto me, understanding that I, Vasudeva, am everything. So he immediately exalts the jnani. But here in this purport, Prabhupada is describing that especially the first 3, I mean, someone who approaches God in general. And as soon as I read this verse and when I think about it, I always think about people going en masse to the churches and mosques and everything. Are they praying for pure devotion? They don't know the name. That means a vague name, but they don't know any personal name of God. Just understanding Supreme Personality of God, as Atri does, is not enough. Because the whole purpose of existence material existence is to get out of it and reawaken our original relationship with Krishna in love. And there's no love without understanding the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of whoever you want to love. You know, you can't have some love for some vague entity who you simply want to give you something and help you materially. So that's the position of Atri Muni here. He knows that there is a supreme personality of Godhead. Prabhu significantly quotes from the Upanishads. This may be from different. What do we have? A bird got it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Fun.
Interesting.
Oh, like Vrindavan.
Very fun.
All right, let's see.
Let me open this door behind Balaram too.
Yeah, open the doors. Uh-oh. Okay, open.
Taking darshan. Yeah, he's sitting right here.
Taking darshan.
Yeah, it happens in Vrindavan daily.
Oh,
Now what? It's like Vrindavan happens every day, right? Okay, so Yato Vayimani Bhutani. So this is Upanishads. And what it's simply saying there is that from him comes everything. Well, that's pretty vague. You know, that's basic knowledge about the Supreme Absolute Truth. But it's not very far toward the bhakti side. And so Atri concentrated his mind to beg a child. So this kind of devotional service in which knowledge of the name is lacking is described in the Gita, where the Lord says 4 kinds of men with backgrounds of pious activities come to him. So the clue is he wanted someone like the Lord. He wanted someone like the Lord, someone who is powerful, that can give all these benedictions, but not exactly the Lord. So in devotional life, we're meant to somehow or other come before the Lord. And Prabhupada in his purports there in Bhagavad Gita says, well, this is much better than the Dushkritis, who are described in the next verse. Namam Dushkrita no mudha papadyante nanarama. That the 4 kind of people don't come to me. And they're Dushkritis, as opposed to Sukritis. Kriti means someone who does something. One is Dush and one is Su. Sukriti are those who, maybe we can bring out the prasadam, because they always go for the prasadam. Is there any business?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. And maybe
Halava.
Yeah, the halva or whatever it is.
Like halava. So, he just came in again?
It's the same one, he never got out.
Aha, why doesn't
Yeah, maybe it's some pious form of
doors
bhakti.
open? Happy to stay in this. Okay, that's nice.
He was a bhakta who wanted to fly.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that.
So, like this, make a mess. So these 4 kinds. Now we can relate to that. I mean, many of us may have said, "Yeah, I was certainly curious." You know, myself, I was. They're not mutually exclusive. You can be curious. You can know something. You want to get more knowledge, and oftentimes it's distress that brings you. You have some problem in your life, and you're feeling a need. So somehow or other, if one comes to the Krishna temple, this is a different program. It's not something impersonal. Immediately you are within the confines of Krishna's home. You see the form, you learn the name, and you're among the devotees. So that's very, very fortunate. And this is really a basic principle of preaching, and a basic principle of how one comes to Krishna consciousness. And that is that you come for one reason, but due to association, if you're in good association, then it becomes purified. The motive becomes purified. And in this canto, the most famous example of that is going to be given, Dhruva Maharaj. His motive was totally material, but he had the great fortune of meeting Narada Muni, who gave him a process of meditation which is at least as austere as what Atri was doing. This is, back in the Satya Yuga. But within that process, there was bhakti, the chanting of the name Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, rudimentary deity worship, and meditating on the Lord in the heart, while chanting the mantra and performing all this incredible austerities, hardly breathing and not eating, meditating all this. So the process itself even though it wasn't his original motivation, it eventually became so purified that when Vishnu comes down, after Dhruva became so powerful, he was stopping the universal breathing. And Vishnu comes down on Garuda, and he opens his eyes, and there's the object of his meditation for 6 months. And he was in total ecstasy. The description of his ecstasy is quite interesting. You're like licking him up with his tongue, and he's borrowing. Every sense was absorbed in Vishnu. And then in the prayers in the Bhagavatam also, he doesn't mention his original motivation. One of the famous prayers is, what does he pray for? Bhakti muhur pavahatam tvahime prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayana. It says, please let me have the association of your devotees in whom the flow of bhakti is just like a powerful river. Pavahatam tvahime prasango. Now this word prasanga is very interesting. It comes up again and again. You may recall, this was the beginning of the Sadhu Sangashtaka, the beginning of Kapila's teaching to his mother, back in chapter 25 of the last canto. And he starts out that we're all prasanga. Prasanga means we have very powerful attachments. Prasangam madara pasham. These are like powerful ropes that bind us here. So, who remembers? We've gone over this at least 10 times since I've been last night. What does he suggest we do with those attachments? Transfer to
Sadhus.
The sadhus. The sadhus. That's the first thing. Ultimately, we want to transfer it to Krishna. But the most practical thing is you can find the sadhus if you look, if you know where to look, and he gives a description, the qualities and the activities. And if you say, yes, I want to become purified, I want to go back to Godhead, I want to become self-healing, then I should find them. In other words, approach the spiritual master, pure spiritual master. So that prasanga is the same thing that Dhruva says. Let me have association of those devotees who have very powerful attachment to you. Prasango, bhuyadananda mahatam, amalashayana, whose hearts are completely pure of amala, of impurities. Because by their attachment, then he describes this world as an ocean full of blazing fire-like dangers. This is one of these famous phrases of Prabhu. Ulbanam is blazing fire. So you have the ocean, but there's burning debris in the ocean, and you have to try to cross it. Very dangerous in two ways. Yena, by their association, I will easily anjasolbanam aru vyasanam bhavabdin neshe bhavad gunakatamata panamat. Because I'm becoming mad to drink the nectar of your kata, Krishna kata. That's what I want. I don't want anything else. In the kingdom I want, who cares? I don't want it anymore. And then famously Prabhu would quote another verse, not in the Bhagavatam, but from the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. What is that? You know how it starts? I was situated in penance, desiring a certain tapasistitoham tvam praptavan devamanindra guyam. That I wanted this position, my father's kingdom. And therefore I was situated in extreme penance. But now I've gotten your vision of you. And kachim bachindvanapi divyaratkam. And now I realize that kingdom which I wanted, which was greater than my great-grandfather, greater than Lord Brahma's, because it's the son of Uttanapada, who was the son of Swayambhuva, the beginning of the universe. I think that kingdom is just like broken glass. Because now I've gotten you, Svaman Kutartos, I don't want anything else. This is the whole idea. So Atri Muni is not at that level. He is going to get these three sons, each of whom is a plenary portion, expansion of exalted soul, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And Vishnu will be Dattatreya, and the other two, Brahma will be, who is Brahma? Soma, the moon god. And Shiva will be Durvasa Muni. We learned something about Durvasa yesterday. I never knew what his name means. We all thought it meant that, well, his clothes are either bad or they don't exist. Vasa. But Vasa really means place. And Durvasa means, Vasa? Yeah, it means difficult to live with.
Difficult to live with.
Durvasa.
The place which is difficult to live with.
Difficult to live with him in his place, or wherever he is. So in other words, he's such an irascible character. He he attacked Ambarish Maharaj, and he's easily angered. And he's very, very proud of his. So that's Durvasa. So that's one of his sons. Not the most auspicious, son to him. Anyway, so that's what he gets. But he still has, Krishna was there, Dattatreya. So we'll learn what happens. The whole idea, these are, the main thing that's going on now at the beginning is the population. How the population is going to come. And they're all coming to these daughters of Kardama Muni. And so they give birth, and sometimes even you'll have Aditi and Diti. And you remember what happened with Diti? Diti had sex at the wrong time. Whether with Kardama or with Kashyap. And we get the race, not just the demon, but the race of demons coming down. They're also populated. So the material world is never pure. It can be for some time, some place, like when Yudhishthira is ruling or Parikshit's ruling. It can be like Vaikuntha. But then time goes on, things change, and at some point demons become very prominent. And so that there's a whole race of them, the Daityas and the Danavas. There's another race coming down from Danav. So that's part of what this material world is like. There's always disruption, either threatening or happening, or just happening. Just happening. This is what the material world is like. What were you going to ask?
Can you explain what you mean they had sex at the wrong time? What does that mean?
Oh, you weren't here. Well, there are certain, just like we're reading how they performed the great austerities before having sex to have a child, right? So that there's a whole science of how to have an auspicious child. It's very interesting in the English language how you have this phrase, conceive a child, which is an echo of this whole science, which who knows about that? That the child is determined in large part by the consciousness of the parents at the time of sexual intercourse. No, who knows that? It's all about genes and everything. But that's the key factor, because the living entity is being attracted by the mentality of the parents at that time, the time of conception. So there's certain auspicious times of the day for that, and there's certain inauspicious times. And Diti was so lusty that she, practically forced Kashyapa to have that, even though he warned her. He says, wait a little while, and she says, no, I can't wait. So they had sex at just the evening time, which is a bad time. Why? Because at that time, Shiva's ghosts and goblins are abroad, and they can easily affect it. So it's a subtle science. That's why we have, even in ISKCON, Prabhu had, you want to get married, and there's a Garbhadan Sanskara. These Sanskaras are different rituals, if you want to call them, for purification. Without them, then you have what we have now. Just the world's overrun with unwanted population, and nobody knows, like this whole thing with the gun violence in the schools, no, you can't stop that, unless you take the guns away, and they're not about to do that. There's more guns in this country than there are people. That means some people have huge arsenals. I don't have any guns. Does anyone have a gun? Maybe it's one of us. I'm not going to ask. But I mean,
Big Brother's watching.
Okay, it's legal, I'm sure, hopefully. But the point is that means a whole bunch of people will have a lot of guns. What for? So you have the uncontrolled propaganda through the internet, through the media, right? Whatever you want to put on there, basically. You have 10-year-old kids getting addicted to pornography, insane, which is like horrific, and so then you have a certain number of people who are getting frustrated. There's something called the what is it called? Incel. You know what the incels are? You know, incel is involuntary celibates. That's not us. We're voluntary, right? You can walk out and do it. So involuntary means you want to have a gopher, but no girl will go with you. You know, you can't get it. But a certain percentage of those, there's millions of them, a certain percentage get so frustrated and so angry that they break, you know, and they get some guns very easily, and they go. They're young guys. Sometimes they go shoot up the school. It's happened several times already. So now Prabhupada would immediately point to cow slaughter, right? So that cow slaughter it affects the intelligence of everybody who eats meat or is part of it, you know, or just part of the whole environment. Because consciousness is catching. That's what the prasangam is. You know, you may be a vegetarian, but if you're hanging out all the time with people who eat meat who are violent, you'll also become violent. You know, it's not just automatic. If you're a vegetarian, you're a gentle person. You know. So the point is that the Vedic science of reproduction, of how to raise children so that you get you know, saintly persons, who the king is, who the leader is, so that, you know, it's all part of the reason why the Bhagavatam was spoken. Is to spread Dharma widely throughout the world so that it won't be a hellish planet. And that one of the main things that are going on are people are striving to achieve perfection and go back to God. So that's unheard of today. You know, Prabhupada, well, it's heard of now. You know, Prabhupada went all over the world, great effort in Lord Chaitanya's prediction. So we're in a period near the beginning of Lord Chaitanya's era within this particular Kali Yuga, 10,000 years. And you know, most of us are aware, so how can it happen? I mean, how could it possibly happen? The climate change is going on. You have nuclear weapons proliferating. Meat eating is going on. How is it going to happen? But somehow it's going to happen. You know, just like I was reading, as I mentioned, the Ramita, and when you have, because of the way that things are set up, information is going out more rapidly and widely and in great quantity than ever before. Anyone can access anything now, practically. So that there's a big downside in that, which I won't get into, but I think it's obvious. I was mentioning pornography. But at the same time, I was thinking of how Krishna Kaddish really took off in England, but also all over the world, as soon as George Harrison got interested. They were world famous, right? He was world famous, and he was open to it. He was always aware of it, and they cut the record. First day, 70,000 was sold. Hare Krishna record. Prabhupada was ecstatic, you know. It's like it's an explosion. So, who knows? One or two of you may not. Maybe you didn't hear this story. Back in 1976, the first New York Rath Yatra, were you there? Yeah. You weren't there. But you were, I don't know if you remember, no, but you weren't in the room. So it was a huge thing. Prabhupada was there. He came down Fifth Avenue. In a short space of 10 years, the movement grew from this little storefront, you know, nothing, and now it's like conquering New York. You know, he's coming down Fifth Avenue on 3 carts, very elaborate. But they had to build the carts. Where did they build the carts? You know, Jayananda was there. The whole thing. Radha Damodar was here. The building, the 55th Street building. You couldn't build it in the building. There's nothing there. No space. So they looked around, and they found this form, the land, or the block over a dysfunctional subway station, and it wasn't being used. You know, there was. But who did they approach? Donald Trump. He was just starting his career, 76. You know, and he owned it. They approached him, and he said, "Yes, you can use it." And it was because of Donald Trump that they were able to build those carts, and there was a whole adventure with one of them, Balaram's cart, getting blown all down the day before. And Jayananda, I heard this story by Maheshwar. Did you ever read it? You know Maheshwar?
Of course.
Yeah.
I know. I read the whole story.
Yeah, he told that in the lunch. I was there when he came, and he told it. It's incredible. That Jayananda said, "There's no way we can get this fixed. We're going to have 2 carts." And Maheshwar, who's up here in Ojai, does a lot of good preaching up there. He said, no, maybe we can do something with it. I just need a crew. So you can't have the regular crew. You have to get people. There were a whole ton of devotees in the temple coming to visit. First, Prabhu's going to be there. First Rath in New York, the temple was packed. So he got his own crew, and they found the place that they had bought. Anyway, somehow or other, they were able to lift that Balaram cart. They had, the wind came blowing through. You can blow through those canyons and blew it down. They came. So anyway. So that's an example of a famous person being able to do a lot of service. And that can happen today. There's all these billionaires running around. Who knows? Maybe one of them will, see the light, get religion, meet a devotee, or maybe his daughter got involved. Who knows? It can happen like that. And suddenly Krishna consciousness, we can have a beautiful, beautiful temple right here in the middle of America, you can imagine what you can do with $1 billion, or even a couple $100 million. So that has to be somehow, something like that's got to happen in order for fast in order to save the world and reverse this freight train. How to control freight train going to hell? That's modern society. I mean, every day, how many species go extinct? It's insane. We're in the middle of a big extinction here. So. Anyway, because of Krishna consciousness is dynamic, and if the motivation is kept pure, if we actually pray, this is why it's so nice to take some of the prayers from the Bhagavatam, from Lord Chaitanya, and adopt them as one's own. There's no reason in the world why we can't pray Ainanda Tamaja Kinkaram Patitamam. We should. Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda, somehow or other I've fallen into this horrible ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up and place me as an atom at your lotus feet. That's a pure prayer. That's the kind of prayer we should have. And even though we may have so many material desires, if you pray like that, if you focus on the holy name, if you practice devotional service, your heart will become pure and your desires will change. Everything is in flux. Our consciousness is in flux. And we're reading in the evening, for those who are interested, we're beginning the second chapter of Nectar of Devotion. Such important instruction. It's all about the process of devotional service. Vaidhi Bhakti, which is where we're at. Now, Nectar of Devotion goes into some pretty esoteric, very esoteric material. But at the beginning here, why practice? What's the benefits? And here's the basic practice. It's from the ABC. Rupa Goswami is teaching. It's an invaluable book. So you're all invited to come and we can discuss that. All right, we've got 8:32. Abhinanda Prabhu.
Yeah, of course you've covered quite a few things in your commentary. And I was curious, maybe for the benefit of the other devotees, maybe you will feel it's not appropriate, but as a very knowledgeable person, you touched on the subject of nuclear war. In the 1948-1956 Back to Godhead magazines, April 4th, 1975, Mayapur, conversation, morning walk through the Prabhupada. Please elaborate. Thank you.
Let me elaborate. Are you referring to Prabhupada's prediction how it would come about as it start with Pakistan and India?
Number one.
Yeah.
In 1956, after 50 years.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, he also
that was
said...
the 1956 Back to Godhead magazine.
Well, yeah, but there's also a morning walk where you mentioned it, and the devotees were very curious about...
April 4th, 1975, Mayapur, yes.
But he also said if we distribute books, we can hit it off, as far as I remember.
Can you please provide that reference?
I will once I get back to my computer.
Just email it to me. Thank you.
Yeah, because
but at the same time, you also bring it up regularly in your class.
Well, it's because it's in the air. I mean, it's we've come to a point now where just objectively you see that this most powerful country in the world, bristling with nuclear weapons and all kinds of weapons we don't even know about, is run by a unstable, narcissistic doofus. And it's an extremely dangerous situation. Everybody in the world who's aware of this is now on edge. Now,
one more thing. Srila Prabhupada said that country or that person who drops the bomb first wins the war.
Well,
that's right from Prabhupada.
I don't know what to say about that, but I don't know what exactly winning would mean in that kind
Well,
of
the
thing.
example is Hiroshima.
Yeah, but if you drop 10 or 20 bombs, then you get into the nuclear winter. So we may be winning, but we're also underground trying to. It's not going to be like this.
Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, after this commentary of Srila Prabhupada, stated that according to Bhakti Chiruswami, that after the war there will be 10% of the population left, and the whole world will become Krishna conscious.
Okay.
In other words, you mentioned the golden age within the Kali Yuga, the Satya Yuga within the Kali Yuga, right?
Yeah.
Then it will be it will happen.
Okay.
That's the conclusion.
Well, I can say from my own perspective, I hope I don't see it. I'm old enough now where I can kind of see the end.
I want to point out that Daneshwar Prabhu told me, you know Daneshwar?
I know Daneshwar very well.
My good friend. He said, Abhi, I hope it hits me right on the head. Because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I don't have to worry about the nuclear fallout, etc.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
All right.
Okay, Balaram, we'll end with this.
This is a different topic, but our Dharmaraj, he'll be actually coming here today. Dharmaraj, Virendra Kumar's son, that young boy.
Yes.
So he's been distributing books, and he's actually pretty good. They go to these big concerts, with thousands and thousands of people. So somehow or other, he's been getting into the backstage. He's sneaking back there. And anyways, I think he wears a shirt that says something like waste removal or something. He carries a bag of trash.
They go to a concert?
That's a great
backstage.
Sanitation.
The back of the stage?
Yeah, backstage.
Backstage where all the performers.
And then he goes up to these big performers. He's got two guys so far.
I'm ready to go.
One was, we don't probably, some rapper guy, Waka Flock, but he has like millions of followers. And he gave a book. He gave another guy a book, but just recently, just a few days ago, he gave this guy a book, and this guy is like one of the top 5 rappers in the world.
Yeah.
He has like 10 million followers, something like that. So he actually gave him a book, and he got a picture of it and everything. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that reminds me, and we'll end with this, is that, George Harrison, I was mentioning him, and I'd forgotten this, and maybe I never knew it, that George came to see Prabhupada, maybe when he was staying at Lenin's place, and so he had his private darshan, basically, maybe just one other to keep notes, And George was, I asked him, do you want me to shave up and everything? And he said, no, you're doing good work like that. So, but I will give you some ideas for your songs. And then he started reading him, some of the translations of Bhaktivinoda's songs. And it was shortly after that where we got the My Sweet Lord and all these different things. Now that's, this sounds the same thing. If he gets into the book, who knows what
Yes,
the
like
next rap. Now this is how it
Chandra Bose, that Dharmaraj Ki Jai.
Yeah, Dharmaraj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glory to Prabhupada.
What's that again?
Dharmaraj gave a book to Bob Marley's.
Ziggy Marley.
Ziggy Marley gave a book to him.
Oh, that's a famous name. I know that
picture.
Dharmaraj.
So he got 3 people so far.
Let's go. Let's do it.
He was...
Because he's a rapper himself, right? Did he do something about his little rap?
And they used to have the Bliss Bar company here, the old Bliss Bar. They had Ziggy Marley Bliss Bar,
What is it?
It was the Ziggy Marley Bliss Bar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it had and it was actually, it had his official copyrighted, approval.
He came to SanDiego.
He was recently, there was some big festival going on, and he was recently trying to get this really big guy.
Even bigger.
Yeah,
Biggest.
big raspberry.
Because everybody in the service is Krishna.
Yeah, of course. He should get him.
Yeah.
I'm praying that he gets
It's a huge celebrity culture. That's what the
Right in
president.
Hollywood, you get so many people. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Aerosmith, Steve Tyler comes to the Los Angeles Govinda's restaurant and the
Well, he'll be
gift shop.
happy to
Right?
see it.
Yeah, definitely would.
All right, that's how it's going to happen.
That's right. Paul McCartney, Ki Jai, got to do a concert for Bangladesh one more time. You know, seriously.
Yeah, he'll be here today.
Concert for whatever.
Did he get out?
Hare Krishna movement.
Close. Not out yet.
He did take darshan.
Yeah, he was sitting on the fence looking right at Courtney Time.
That's one special bird.
Paul McCartney, Ki Jai. We catered to Paul in Miami when he came there to Miami Temple, Miami to a concert, and ISKCON Miami provided the shop.
Huh?
That was just about 10 years ago.
He's a vegan.
Exactly. And he's in charge of PETA,
Yes.
which is his own organization.
Chrissy Hine from the Pretenders is all into
Yes. Jello England, let's go. We had I was on there when I was in 1976. I joined the Mayapur Chandradoya Worldwide Traveling Sankirtan Party, which later became the BBT Library Party. But still, that's a fantastic idea. And Narayan Vishwakarma also was on the Worldwide Traveling Sankirtan Party. How do you know this?
There's a later program that's not there, right?
Yes.
They have one, right?
No.
Ruchi's kind of like.
They're not. They're
Kind of a happy-go-lucky thing.
They're more like independent. They're not traveling secretary. They are.
Well, they would have to be independent also in order to pull this off. Unless you have the
They're
ISKCON,
like BBC.
SanDiego,
Like BBC.
Worldwide Traveling Sankirtan Party.
Yeah, they're traveling. And they're doing
You want to build this temple? That's the way you do it.
right?
You've got time. Got it. Okay. I will.
They keep like first time it is.
Why not? Why should we always remain, just temple pot washers and servants? In the future, we have to do something big for SanDiego. Isn't that correct? Thank you.
Funny, the first time I made a story.
You want to remain a brahmachari, you got to get. What does that mean? That every 3 days, you keep going. And you'll get so fired up. It's just amazing.
Yeah, actually, so
Such an adventure, so exciting. The whole life changes. Can you imagine driving 6 Mercedes vans from Frankfurt, Germany to Mayapur in the middle of the winter with 40 feet of snow, and we had to drive the border guards, and it was incredible.
How are we going to get this bird out right?
Get the bird out. Yeah, buck the bird.
Any ideas?
Well, I think okay. What you do is you close all the doors and you put some halava out here, like right there on the floor.
They really like that, huh?
They do. They always come every day. But the thing is, also, it's not. I know you can get them out. I would imagine that all the birds that are around this temple are very sacred, special individuals.
I thought you were going to say fat, but yes, they are.
Like you said, I'm serious. Why not?
They might be reincarnated neophytes. I don't think they're like really advanced souls.
Give them some prasadam so we take them to the next level.
It says that one who dies in the Dham.
There was something very interesting that was in this Bhagavatam class too about related to Srimadbhagavatam Mandala. I don't know if you caught it.
What do you say?
Well, the Nirvindya, first of all, Atri Muni, right, was standing on one leg, right? And he's at the hermitage of the Nirvindya River. There is no Nirvindya River in anywhere that we know of on the Earth's planet if you do a search. Okay. And Balaram, Krishna's brother, also went there when he had to take a sacred bath, including the Dandakaranya forest. So the 3 worlds that they're talking about in the sloka is what we know as the Earth. On the other side of the 50,000-mile high Himalayan mountains is the higher world, and it also talks about Nagaloka, right? And Nagaloka, of course, is below this present plane, right?
And the verse talks about Nagaloka?
It talks all about this, and I can show you. Just research all the slokas. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Naga Arjuna, the great physician to Ashoka, the emperor of India, who spread Krishna consciousness to Thailand, etc., Buddhism, because then he combined, the teachings of Lord Ram and so many things. Naga Arjuna, who is that? The physician to Ashoka. Okay? He learned directly the hidden secrets of alchemical preparations from the Nagas that was lost, on this plane for thousands and thousands of years. So that is where the recipes to manufacture Siddha Makardvaj, where you get the darshan of the Lord, come from. And I have personally manufactured that by the correct formula and distributed it, and it gives the darshan of the Lord.
So there is a pill for Krishna consciousness.
Yes,
we can see
I'm serious. Yes. But as Indra Prabhu said, we better go outside. Indra Prabhu, I talked about this to Indra Prabhu. I don't want to get it. It's very interesting. You have to carry that. Okay, I'll tell you. This is Krishna conscious talk, so it's okay. Indra Prabhu told me, when I told him about Makardvaj, because you see, Makardvaj is when Lord Shiva was chasing after Mohini Murti. You know what happened, right? Yes, correct. Right? You know that. Okay, so that appeared on this planet as wells of mercury, or what's called para. And you take that ingredient plus sulfur. Sulfur is that's a similar thing of Parvati. Okay, and then Abrakbaspa, mica silica, is the other aspect of the female Parvati's, you could say, period. Right? So you mix all those things together with special mantras and formulas and offer it to Lord Shiva. So when I told Indra about all that, he said, "Oh, it sounds really good." But he said, "I would prefer to have the blank, blank, blank of Krishna rather than Shiva."
Same as Krishna?
That's what he said to me. Anyway, that's Indra Prabhu. I thought that was really funny that he said
Pretty
that.
far out.
Yeah. Anyway, he wasn't, because he's a brahmachari, he didn't, because this makes you like, a warrior.
Yeah.
And it's like very powerful.
Yeah.
Not recommended for sannyasis, if you understand.
Yeah.
Good for warriors. It's
Interesting.
amazing stuff. Oh,
Interesting.
very interesting. It's only understood by experience.
Makardvaj.
Well, yeah, but you can't buy it. The stuff that they make is garbage.
Yeah.
You got to do it with a secret Kaviraj.
Makardvaj.
I have the formula. Anyway, nice talking to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, come. No, wrong way. Hey, don't be offensive now. That's what I look like. Ask for respect. No respect, you know? No respect. Come on, what's going on? Drop in. What's their phones after the job of them?
Jopping. He's jopping.
Don't do that.
No. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavanscha Sri Rupam Saprajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Tvam Sajivam Shantaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanikanscha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurhata Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurhata Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurhata Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,